like me. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get you back first, and then...
You gonna get me back? I think you've gotten me back. I think you...
Getting her back seems to be getting even with her for what she did. But he's laughing really hard, so we don't really know what to make of that. Let's keep watching.
Video coming into the newsroom shows first responders paying respects to 14-year-old Tyree Sampson. These were the same people who responded nearly a week ago when the teen fell from the Orlando freefall ride. Meantime, tonight lawmakers in Central Florida are responding to our investigation into the attraction. News 6 investigator Maris Badcock joins us there live tonight. So Maris, what are these lawmakers now telling you about this?
Well, the lawmakers, they have a lot of questions, and frankly, they're not alone. There's a lot of activity out here tonight. You can see the Tyree Sampson t-shirts. I'm told those are all of his cousins here tonight. Those first responders earlier, they left this bouquet of flowers right here and that sign that says King of the High Rise. And I want to show you something else. The cousins tell me this stuffed elephant right here, a child left that, and that duct tape is supposed to represent the seat belt that was supposed to be on the ride when Tyree fell off of it. And that's just one of the many questions lawmakers have tonight. Why would someone be allowed on this ride if they didn't meet the height requirements? How could a ride like this operate without seatbelts? And what kind of training was involved? These are some of the things our News 6 investigations have started to uncover, and lawmakers like State Representative Geraldine Thompson, who oversees the iDrive corridor, are now seeking further clarification from the state agency investigating the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Wow, dude. Yes. It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was the greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
I don't think it's about getting anybody back.
No, for me it is.
Okay. I'll give you that petty if that's what you want.
Not sure if he would actually do it, but this does indicate that what Jada did really hurt Will, which actually shows that he cares.
25 years and counting.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage
for life.
There's nothing like being optimistic about your future together, right? Also, don't we recall them saying that they don't call themselves married anymore?
We don't even say we're married anymore.
We don't even call ourselves married anymore.
Yeah. We don't call ourselves married anymore. We're in a life partnership.
Marriage for life.
Hey, y'all, it's Summer Christiana. The following video footage is sensitive. Viewer discretion is advised. A 14-year-old Missouri football player fell to his death recently after visiting Icon Park in Orlando, Florida. Take a look.
Shocking new details in the death of 14-year-old Tyree Sampson change everything you know about this story. This right here, it's one of the final views that Tyree Sampson had while he was alive. He was on top of the free fall ride, but his journey didn't end safely like this one. His body flew straight down into the ground below, and he ended up right on that perimeter fence that you see. But there's one piece of information in particular in this owner's manual that changes the game here. First, before we dive into the owner's manual, let's hear from a family friend. You see, not a lot of news outlets are talking about something else that happened that day. Tyree Sampson tried to go on more than just the free fall ride. And here's what happened. Listen to his cousin.
He really wanted to ride the swing, and they told him that he was too big. Then he said he went to the slingshot. They told him he was too big for that. But y'all did not let him get on those two, but y'all let him get on that one, being overweighted.
So his cousin says he tried to go on the slingshot, he tried to go on the swings, but he couldn't. He was denied going on those rides because of his weight and size. However, when he went over to free fall, they said, go for it. Here she is saying it again.
You told him he couldn't get on the swing. You told him he couldn't get on the slingshot. So why did you allow him to get on this one if he was too overweight?
He tried the other one?
Yeah, he tried to get on that one, and he tried to get on that one, and they told him he was too big for it.
So they told him he's too big, he's too heavy for all of this. Well, here's what the company that runs this free fall ride says. John Stein, the director of marketing and sales for the Slingshot group of companies, said we have a size restriction. You have to be 50 inches or taller, and you have to be able to fit in the seat. And so there's really no weight restriction unless you cannot fit in the seat. This is how we operate, and the harness blocks you in, and we operate the ride. So the only size restriction is if you're shorter than 50 inches, according to the director of marketing and sales. Here's the problem. This is the actual manual for the free fall ride. Yeah, that's right. I didn't know that the theme park attractions had manuals, but it has quite an extensive one. It's 177 pages. And on page 58, we see patron restrictions. This is from the manufacturer. All passengers must be a minimum of 125 centimeters, they say. And then they say the age. There is no age restriction. Physical and mental conditions. Riders must be in good physical and mental condition, specifically not under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Riders must not have any physical problems, such as heart condition or back injuries, which could be exacerbated by a ride. Rider must have the ability to hold an upright sitting position alone. At a minimum, riders must have legs that include the knee. Very strange. Riders must have arms that extend at a minimum to the elbow and one natural functioning hand on two of the arms. Prosthetics may not be worn on the ride, they continue. Here's the most important bit, because this is all about weight. And he said there's no weight restriction as long as you fit on the ride. There is no minimum weight except physical size. This is the actual owner's manual, which may prevent the guest from properly being secured by the seat and the restraint. According to EN 13814, the maximum passenger weight is 130 kilograms. 130 kilograms is around 275 pounds. Well, we know that he was much heavier than that. In fact, he was about 350 pounds. Tyree Sampson was 6'5", 350. He was way bigger than the limit that they had set for this ride. Now onto the chair itself. This is the actual chair that you sit in on this ride. And you can see right here that this device is what controls the locking mechanism that keeps the restraint on you. Clearly what happened was all of the weight from Tyrese Sampson was placed in this area right here. And when he was coming down, it put a lot of force in that area and it malfunctioned the seat. This is what it looks like happened here. Then after he was thrusted down to the ground, the seat harness went up, went back down and locked, because that's where they found it, in that locked position. One more thing I want to show you here before we wrap things up, because his family said a mind-blowing detail that I can't believe to be true, but I'm going to take them at their word. So there's a couple of things you should know. Now there's a big security fence around Freefall, and they've got a makeshift memorial there as well. Check this out.
Hey ladies, as Tyrese Sampson's family continues to grieve, we're learning more about what happened to him when he fell from this ride last Thursday. It's happening as this makeshift memorial for him continues to grow. Flowers, balloons, and teddy bears here at the scene. We've also seen here in the past few hours this new fencing and black covering up here at the bottom of the ride behind the memorial. And we can also see workers there, or investigators perhaps, back there behind this tarp. Now,
so they put a tarp up, they put this big fence up, they're trying to block things off. And they also released this report. CNN had the exclusive on this. And it says what I was just telling you. Because when you look at the chair and you look at the system that holds the chair in place, it says that Sampson came out of the seat when the magnets engaged to slow the ride. So when we go back to that first clip, you can see here that as the ride goes down, it's a free fall until it slows down drastically, right? There. That's when the magnets engage. Something went wrong with the seat mechanism at that point in time, and instead of slowing down, he went straight to the ground. They said the harness was still in a down and locked position when the ride stopped. Now to this statement from his family that I find insane. If this is true, this is a real travesty that they let this happen. Let's listen in, and then I want you to tell me what you think in the comments below.
The herpes thing I had to do was clean his blood up. They didn't even clean it. They left it there and I had to clean it up.
The group released...
Are you kidding me? Is this true? They left Tyrese Sampson's blood on the ground at the scene? Is there some sort of investigational reason for this? You've got his cousin, his family members cleaning this up at the scene? That's wild. That's some pretty intense stuff right there.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye.
See you later.
See you later.
Be safe.
Bye.
What happened?
Programming to take you to the White House, where the U.S. President Joe Biden is making an address on energy prices. Let's listen in.
We're responding. We're aiding the Ukrainian people, both economically and militarily, while leaving the most punishing economic sanctions against Russia ever used against another nation in place and increasing them. Thus far, these actions are crippling Russia's economy, isolating Putin from the world, and helping Ukrainians fight for their country and ease their suffering. But as I've said from the start, Putin's war is imposing a cost on America and our allies and democracies around the world. Today, I want to talk about one aspect of Putin's war that affects and has real effects on American people. Putin's price hike that Americans and our allies are feeling at the pump. I know how much it hurts. As you've heard me say before, I grew up in a family like many of you, where the price of a gallon of gasoline went up. It was discussion at the kitchen table. Our family budgets, your family budgets, to fill a tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war. So today I'm laying out a two-part plan, not only to ease the pain that families are feeling right now, but to end this era of dependence and uncertainty, and to lay a new foundation for true and lasting American energy independence. Parenthetically, just imagine if in fact Europe didn't have to count on Russian oil. If they were energy independent, it would change the nature of so much.
Bless me, so that I may serve you in this our quest. Give me always tries to spread your message or yours. I know that you have a whole mess of third world countries and socialist paradises all lined up like little ducks in a row, but the U.S. really has no desire to be involved in your so-called New World Order. I'm afraid it's not your decision anymore. You see, the United Nations and the European Union have folded themselves into my organization. In fact, your representatives to the UN voted for the Accord. Those ambassadors have since been recalled. Mr. Vice President, I think you understand me well enough to know I only want what is best for everyone. Well, regardless of your intentions, I'm in complete agreement with the President. You can't be the only boat paddling against the tide. Isolationism is so sad. No, the North American zone must join the others. North American zone? You and your people can call it whatever you want, but as long as I'm breathing, I'm the president of the God-blessed United States of America. I see. Well then, there's nothing more to be said, is there? Gentlemen?
Getting back to a Facebook question, this Facebook question is by Mona. And she wants me to explain why Mystery Babylon and I assume she's talking about what John describes in Revelation chapter 16. She wants me to explain why Mystery Babylon is in the Bible and what Mystery Babylon means. Well, the book of Revelation, and I've summarized this in various places, it really gives you an overview of a persecuted bride, 7 churches to the 7 churches in the epicenter of the Caesar cult, a prostituted bride. This is a bride who no longer cares about her mission, and then a purified bride. In fact, the persecuted bride, through faithfulness, is ultimately transformed into a purified bride, dressed in fine linen, as the Bible says, white and clean. And though she suffers for 10 days, she ultimately reigns with Christ for 1,000 years. Now, I think there's a great contrast here in answer to your question, Mona, between the purified bride and the prostituted bride. And that contrast could not be starker. In fact, this is precisely what John is talking about when he uses the moniker Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. Because this contrast is that unlike the purified bride, who bears the moniker of the Lord and the Lamb on her forehead, Mystery Babylon, the mother of prostitutes, commits fornication with the nations of the earth. Remember, they were called as a people to be a witness to the nations, but instead they prostituted themselves with the nations. Of course, that ultimately became the reason why the kingdom was torn into 2 parts. And she is what Jesus refers to as the synagogue of Satan, because there are those who claim to be Jews, but in reality are not Jews at all. So the book of Revelation, judgment is about to befall Mystery Babylon. The purified bride is told that she not fear that judgment that is going to be falling those that say they're Jews but are not, or Mystery Babylon, for she, the purified bride, has been sealed by the Lamb, and was a lamb that was slain from a biblical perspective, a lamb that was slain from the very creations of the world. So Mystery Babylon, again referred to in Revelation chapter 17.
Revelation 17. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a shorter space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These
These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.